Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Praxie AI-powered OGSM uh, presentation today. Seen that? Okay. Um, if everybody could, it'd be great if you want to. No pressure, but put your first name in and where you're calling in from. It's always fun to hear where people are in the world. So I just put them in. I'm in the San Francisco area. Michael Lynch. Anyone else? There we go. Texas. Gabriel. Fantastic. Houston. We got a lot of Texans. I was born in Texas, so that's good. We get like the Texans. I was born way south in El Paso. More Texas. Fantastic. Haley, Chicago. Great town. Jocelyn, Houston as well. Wow, you guys should have a party. Hometown, hometown Chicago. That's awesome. Fantastic. Well, we've got a really interesting program we're going through today. We're using AI to drive all the updates around your OGSM. It's going to be really interesting, and it's super powerful, and looking forward to it. All right, are we about there? Okay, it's 7:30. Let's take 1 minute just to see if anybody else joins, and then we'll get started. And we're going to be doing questions in chat. So during the uh, presentation and the demonstration, if you have any questions, just enter them in chat, and then we'll get to them at the end. We'll do a Q&A session. We'll probably try to get everybody out of here in 20 minutes or so that there's a little bit of time to switch meetings. That's always a crazy problem with these online environments. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Yeah, enter your questions there. Thank you. I'm checking that chat. So hopefully you can all see my screen. Gabriel, everybody see my screen okay?
Coming through, yes.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just give you a brief overview of Praxie and what we do. I try not to be too salesy, but just so you guys understand the context. And then from there, we'll walk through OGSM and the updating process, and then we'll provide a demo. So Praxie is a unified applications platform. We do AI-powered digital transformation. We work in lots of different industries, lots in manufacturing, but that's what we are. We're a platform to do that kind of work. We've got lots of customers and feedback and thought leadership, and would love to chat with you if anybody's interested in having a conversation as well. What we find in most companies that there's lots of disconnected document Excel processes with data everywhere, even if you've got some core applications as shown on the right. When I was running IoT at SAP in my previous life, everywhere I went, I would see lots and lots of Excel. So this doesn't really allow very good digital transformation or AI strategies. So what Praxie does is we allow you to and enable companies to go from this sort of Excel world into a complete online software command center, and we can do this in weeks versus months, and we can do it at a tenth of the cost of other folks. The reason is we have a unique application environment and a no-code application builder. And it's not based on a standard three-tier architecture. If you're interested, I can get you more data offline. But basically, we can talk to all of your existing applications, your databases, your machine data, and then we create applications and workflows and processes to give you those full command centers. So you can use the existing core applications that you like, but we can get you out of that Excel hell and digitize everything and provide an AI framework to really use AI across your entire application stack. So that's what we do. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about OGSM. One of the things Praxie does, we have one of the world's largest environment of frameworks for doing different types of best practice processes in business. OGSM is a well-known methodology. It stands for objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. It provides a framework for creating a strategy, but not just creating it, really executing it and updating it against those objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. Now, the framework is different than other frameworks like SMART goals or big, hairy, audacious goals or objectives, key results, KPIs, et cetera, et cetera. It's different in that it's very much a cascaded process, and I'll walk you through the cascade process. Now, the updating process we're going to show later in the demo could be applied to any of these. So if you don't use OGSM, you use OKRs or others, we can apply what you're going to see to those methodologies as well. So the first step in objective goal strategies and measures is objectives. These are what are you trying to achieve? It should be measurable. It should be as specific as possible, and it should be challenging but achievable. You want to be able to get there. So the first step is, where am I trying to go as a company? What are the key, or as a department? The next one are the goals. So what are the goals that would be measurable to support that objective? And so you're cascading. Goals are supporting those objectives. They should be specific, measurable, aligned to the company and the overall objectives, and achievable within that time frame that you're going to measure them. Then you get to your strategies. Those are the plan, the actual plan to achieve those goals. So strategies support goals. Now, this is one of the things that's a little confusing about objectives, goals, strategies, and measures. Is strategies toward the bottom. It's basically, you can think of it as the plan, the execution method. It's not what some people think of generally as strategies, which is at a higher level. In the OGSM methodologies, the strategy is how you're going to achieve that goal. Should be specific. And you should also take into account the resources, because these strategies, think of it as a project plan. This is the strategies we're going to use to execute. And then finally, your measures, which is how you're doing. I had a great mentor once who said, what's the problem? What are you doing about it? And how's it going? So the how's it going is the measures part. And these are specific trackable metrics that actually tell you whether you're achieving those strategies, and actually these will roll all the way back up to your objective. So that's the objective, goals, strategies, and measures. So what we're going to show you in this demonstration today, which is important about the value of what we're going to show, is that manual data entry is what we're going to help you get rid of using AI in this process. Once you lay all your objectives, goals, strategies, and measures out, then you end up in a constant process of updating. And manual data entry is very prone to errors. It really also depends on the writing skills or the data skills of the person. So you might be a terrific manager, but if you're not a great writer and you don't have great data skills, your updates are going to be bad. Excel documents and other document types can be disorganized in a method to do this. It's always somewhere in a drive that nobody looks at. And then updating and organizing these metrics can be very time consuming, and linking them between sheets and making sure they roll up and that they're laid out in a way that executives like. It can all be very time consuming. So we're going to talk about that and how to address that. What we're going to show you now, I'm going to get to the demonstration here in just a second, is this kind of an update where an executive can get a very clean, short summary of each of the areas that they're driving their overall business strategy. Now, we built an application, and this is a demonstration app, and I'm going to turn it over to Gabriel Mendoza in just a minute. But this demonstration app allows you, within the context of OGSM, to create a dynamic updating environment. So you're not locked in or spending lots of time or creating errors and all those kinds of things that happen. And you get the value of AI to do that. So I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to turn this over to Gabriel Mendoza, who's an amazing member of our team and built this application with a couple of other folks. And we're going to let him show it off. So I'll stop sharing, Gabriel.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. This is Gabriel Mendoza, resident nerd in Praxie. 15 years working in Silicon Valley, the last 10 years helping companies figure out their strategies, their innovation, how to apply new technologies into their day-to-day operations and processes. So that's a little bit of my background. So here, let's actually assume I'm the leader of the distribution company for a beer company. So I take care about distribution of the beer in California. So what actually this company, my company, this beer company, what we do is every quarter we put together a really nice update that senior leadership can actually see, and they can actually have like an overall summary of how the entire division is doing. Each one of the main areas of the company generates their own update, and it looks very clean. Everything is summarized with clean narratives. That's the way we like it here in the company. By the way, all this application is already used by a company. So what I'm showing here is being applied in real life. This is just a demo on using this specific application. So again, distribution, I'm late. This is the Q1 update. I haven't updated my section, and therefore we cannot generate an overall summary for the California division. So I receive a call from my senior leadership and say, hey, Gabriel, please go ahead and update your section on distribution. What's going on? We use OGSM model. We define the objectives at the beginning of the year. And then every month, I just provide a quick update of what's going on. But this time is the big update to senior leadership, which is every quarter.
And Gabriel,
So, yep.
just to jump in, a quick question was, can we generate visuals? So the system is capable of generating all the standard charts you'd like to see as part of these. In this case, the customer wanted everything in narrative form. So we're showing you the narrative aspects, but we certainly can provide charting and visuals along with this. Secondly, what Gabriel's going to show you in the context of everything here is this application is designed to manage the OGSM update process. So you'll see him go between screens that are all around the OGSM framework. And somebody asked, how are the goals associated with narratives? You'll see that in a second. But he'll go through those different goals and narratives on a quarterly and monthly basis and then show how they all roll up. So go ahead, Gabriel. Sorry.
All right. No, great. So my section is about distribution. Distribution is the big objective for the company. We just need to make sure that we can, instead of use the word distribution, we typically have like a sentence, if you will. But in this case, just for the demo, we just simplify it to say distribution is one of the big objectives. I have two goals associated to these objectives. One, I need to expand the distribution network. I already generated my Q1 update here, but clearly I'm missing on this one. I need to optimize distribution
and
routes.
You can add more goals if required under distribution if you want. Yeah.
Absolutely, as many as necessary. So in this case, I just have a couple of them. So I'm gonna just click on this goal specifically so you can see the structure of the goal. The goal really tells about what vertical I am. In this case, I'm the California division, for what objective, distribution, when I made the last update. Oh, it was a few days ago, so I need to update this. And then what is the status? I used to have green, and today I received bad news. We're not progressing as we were supposed to, so I'm gonna put it in yellow. And then I have like a brief narrative about how we start the year, what we're trying to achieve. What we're trying to achieve is really find efficiencies and increase quality of service with our clients. So the key actions is we need to find an expert and then do deep analysis of the existing routes and then test and improve those routes, distribution routes. So based on that, I have a series of strategies that are steps that will help me to achieve that goal. And they're documented here. It's just a timeline that says I need to identify a consultant. We'll do a deep dive analysis of the routes and then start doing the analysis of the key metrics to improve. Here is where is the problem, right? I should have done that at the end of the month. So I'm behind, I'm 30%. So I need to provide some updates in my Q1 that I didn't want to. Sometimes I use metrics like this one. You see a chart where I can just see what is the quality of service on each one of the areas that I have, which is Bay Area, Los Angeles, and San Luis Obispo. So I can actually track the quality of service per month, and based on that, I just realized that I have a problem. And my problem, what it is we have an issue with data availability. There's a lot of records to optimize my route, and they're all over. Someone told me, oh, I take notes on my cell phone. So clearly my team is not able to consolidate all that information. And that's the bad news. That's why we're behind. And therefore, I need to generate an update for this specific goal. And my update is going to say, hey, we're at risk. So one way that I can do, I can just start typing, but I already made monthly updates. So I want to just leverage all of these to generate really my quarterly updates. So I'm going to just click here, generate Q1 update. What it's doing is, you saw all the context that I put at the beginning, what we're trying to achieve and where we're coming from. It's using AI, is using that as a context. It's taking my monthly updates and it's incorporated everything into a very short sentence. Here is the short sentence that then I can use for my quarterly update. So here is saying my goal is at risk. I just changed it. And then what happened is providing more details of what's going on here. So we're facing challenges, facing data, fetching the data. So it's describing the problem. I didn't have to go and retype or anything like that. The existing records are all over. We're committed to community analysis. Exactly. That's what we're trying to do in the current quarter. We will optimize addressing data availability issues. Absolutely, yes. Finalize the root analysis. Yes, we need to do that next quarter. And generate improved routes for testing and implementation. You saw I never mentioned that in any of my updates, but we have a context at the beginning that is using that information and is drawing the conclusions that that's exactly what we're trying to do. And says we will also monitor progress closely and address any additional channels that may arise. This might be a little bit of a extra work. I'm gonna just delete that part. I don't think it's needed. I think it's very obvious.
Yeah, you can. A question came in. Can you adjust it? So yeah, you use the AI to generate, but any item in here is adjustable and updatable by the user. But this provides a rapid framework for doing that work and using best practices. And we can design these to create suggestions and all kinds of interesting things you can do with AI.
Great. And then you see, I just deleted a section. I'm gonna say, our external expert has been very proactive during this process. Correct. So I'm just adding an extra note that I probably didn't put anywhere else. So that way I can complete my update.
Yeah, one other question, Gabriel, came in. Can the system effectively cascade? So we do have the ability to have catchball processes around OGSM to cascade it down across the organization as well. Yes.
Absolutely. All right. So I finished my quarterly update for this specific goal. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to my objective at the objective level. So I'm going to come here and my objective is distribution. So now I have completed here, at risk. I did the update today. Here is the text, even including our external expert has been very proactive. Excellent. So now that I have my quarterly updates for all my goals, I'm going to generate my Q1 update for my entire objective. And now what he's doing is taking these two summaries and he's putting together a overall summary that is going to really understand what's going on with my two goals for this specific objective, and he's going to summarize what's going on. So I'm not going to just go and edit because it is a quick demo, but I just want to show you how that looks like here in the overall Q1 summary. So come here in the overall Q1 summary. I don't need to do copy pasting. It's already laid out here. I can adjust it in case that is needed, but it's coming up and say the objective of the challenge for this quarter with security partnership. Yeah, talks about one of the goals, and is facing some data availability issues. He's talking about the issue on the other one. Still is on track. Maybe I need to change that one. I don't think we are on track on the overall distribution. So I'm gonna just coming up and change this to at risk. So that way it's consistent with my narrative. So there you go. So now that all the narratives are here, this is gonna update any second now. Now we can generate the overall summary. So what the overall summary is doing is taking every single one of the objectives summaries. And now I would just want to make sure that gets summarized in a very succinct one paragraph, just a status on the entire business unit or California division. So by doing that, I'm gonna just make sure that this is refreshed.
But no, so does it average? I think in that case, because there were that selection is actually a selection. That one was not AI driven. I think that one was just a user had not, in Gabriel's point of view, had not made that change. The actual narration was pretty accurate.
Yeah, and we were able to control it. I'm gonna just go back super quickly to that specific goal. If at the moment that I generated, I have a little bit of control on. I have some control on what is the tone. So, for example, if everything is on track, then I highlight next steps. If we're at risk, highlight the challenges, which is exactly the tone here. But if we're blocked, and it's going to try to find what are the issues and how to address them. So there is a way to actually manage that tone on that.
Yeah, there's a question about the data around what you have here, and is this shared with AI? So one of the benefits of using Praxie is that this information is anonymized, meaning it's coming through Praxie. It's not related. It's not coming from your IP addresses, et cetera. So there's some security level there. Also, we only use AI engines or models that strictly agree not to use the data as to train their models. So we're using the trained model, but the data does not get transferred to the model provider in any way to train it. And those are through strict agreements. So the answer is the data is used against the model, but it isn't transferred and then used within the model ongoing after that.
Exactly. So this is quite secure. If you try to do this in ChatGPT, you will be facing multiple challenges. One, security, I just mentioned. The second one is it's really hard to provide all the company context accurately. So what we build in this OGSM model, it just allows to have that cascading that context. What is interesting is at the beginning of the year, I mentioned we define the OGSM, but also we build what we call a basic context of the company. You know, what is the mission, where we play, what is our value proposition, what are the customer pain points, any market analysis that we have, we also talk about that, and we documented SWOT, we documented, and AI is using all of this information to help us generate the quarterly updates for each one of the divisions. So each one of the divisions, they have their own context, they provide the monthly updates, they generate the quarterly summary for the goals, and then they generate the Q1 review. So the senior leadership at the end of the day, they come up and they have this beautiful layout dashboard where they have all the quarterly updates for each one of the divisions, and they can just come in and see, you know, what is the summary. They can drill down to any of these sections to understand all individual goals and objectives in case that is needed, and just make sure that they have the proper visibility and narrative for each one of their business units.
Great. So I'll take over here. And any other questions coming up here? Let's see.
Can we incorporate information from other portfolio management tools? Yes, spreadsheets, for example, and the data from a spreadsheet can be pulled in as part of this. And we can actually customize the AI to being able to leverage some insights from, you know, from spreadsheets or some other data sets.
Yeah, we uniquely, so we have connectors for API connectors, we have SQL data connectors, we have a large Excel data connectors. So what's interesting is in the context, if you were trying to do this with a traditional relational database, you have to do data cleansing. New York City is different than NYC, which is different than New York, and you have to get those all correct. One of the cool things about our system is that we can index the data that might be in your SQL system or other systems, and then run AI across that. And so AI understands contextual information like NYC and New York and New York City. And it can understand that. And so it's a much more flexible model in which to run AI process against. So apart from security, how does the AI model differentiate from ChatGPT? Well, the intellectual property that we're adding on top of any of these large language models is the multiple prompting and structure around that process. So the structure around OGSM, the structure around all your company data, all your frameworks that you put in as part of the process would take, you know, an hour to put that data in a sequential method to get any of the models to give you the kind of quality output you're getting here. And then it wouldn't be saved. It wouldn't be retained as part of the structure. So the intellectual property that we're providing is the whole framework around OGSM and how that can be used effectively and efficiently with an AI model. I'm just checking the time here.
Yeah.
So,
and very quickly, Michael, the other benefit is we build a process around it that the person using this update process doesn't have to be an expert in ChatGPT or prompting. They just simply provide their narrative every month, click a button, review it, click another button, and then that's it. So they don't have to worry about providing context, becoming an expert in prompting, or bringing all the data into the tool like ChatGPT.
So that, you know, that getting people the support at the point of work. The other thing is, you know, because of our architecture, the ability to pull this data in we can apply AI to any one of these processes that you're trying to do. This is a reporting process, but it could just as easily be an auditing process where you're summarizing the audits, generating actions to take. It could be any sort of workflow process that the person at the point of work, they get an error from a machine in a manufacturing. What should they do? We can drive AI responses around that. So the idea here is really just to show you an example of how AI can be used to really help any type of user, whether that be an executive doing reporting all the way down to someone working on a machine line or trying to solve a business problem with any of our process frameworks. The AI capability acts as a real help and contextually accurate to the job they're trying to do. And our architecture, which I'm showing here, allows us to do that. And really get you to this place that you're trying to go as quickly as you can. And we showed you this framework, but any other framework you're trying to do, we can support. Just respecting the time. That's my contact information. You can also set up information on or set up a demonstration with one of our team members right on our website. There's a place to set up a demo, and we'd be happy to get online and answer questions if you have. Oh, but did I miss there's a question about FMEA. I think we're going to do that as our next one. Is that correct, guys? I think that's our next webinar. So yeah, we ended up swapping it for some reason, but that'll be our next webinar, and it'll probably be roughly the same time next month. That's really cool, by the way. The FMEA is really cool. Oh, thank you. Impressive product, somebody said. Appreciate it. So yeah, reach out to us. We'd love to talk with you one-on-one about any issues that you guys are working on. And we have solutions across